Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bethany, and on this channel we talk about the false beliefs taught to women inside of the church, and we also shine a light on problematic Christian influencers. So if any of that resonates with you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, share this with a friend, come hang out with me over here on Instagram. You can sign up to be a YouTube member or a Patreon. Everything will be in the description box below. Today we are diving into Brittany Dawn's video number 2, part 2 of her cancel culture whatever. So let's get into it. I put this on my community tab the other day, and I said it's so confusing. Like, Brittany Dawn is confusing me because at the beginning, in the video that I did about 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was video number 2 of her talking about her lawsuit. She said that she was going to do a 5 or 6 part series to cancel culture and her lawsuit and blah, blah, all those things. Well, she posted something the other day saying, oh, well, I just want, to put it all behind me, and I really think God is telling me to talk more of how I got through everything versus the actual thing. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. So she decided to not do any more series, and I don't know. She's confusing the life out of me. Today she did post a part 2 to cancel culture, but she's also talking about the time where they had to kill their dog Brody and Jordan's history as a police officer. So I'm not entirely sure how any of that relates to the lawsuit and the scamming. I don't know how that all correlates together, but we're watching part 2 today. So here we go.
Hello YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of the cancel culture series. We've encountered a lot of spiritual warfare leading up to this, leading up to just the series in general. Cameras messing up, things not being recorded when we thought they were being recorded, everything.
Things messing up, like, technically. Brittany's been dealing with camera malfunction since 2015, and that is so Christian of her to say that things like this are like attacks of the enemy and is spiritual warfare. Your camera not working is not spiritual warfare. Absolutely not. Things not going according to plan when you want to record something, that is not spiritual warfare. It is so silly how Christians use small things like that, just, things not working, and say it's spiritual warfare. It's not freaking spiritual warfare.
That could possibly go wrong from a technical perspective on my end has been going wrong. And I know it's not the Lord, because I very, very, very much so know that the Lord released me to do this series. So it's the enemy working overtime. And so I want to start with prayer to help me through this, to help us through this, because again, these are just really hard conversations to have. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for
this proves to me, this validates to me the showy of her relationship with God, in my opinion. Because if you really wanted the hand of God on your video, or you wanted just peace about something, you would start you would pray before you hit record. Like, sometimes on here I'm like, okay, focus, what are we gonna say now? It just kind of comes natural. But when I first started, it was, okay, get my shit together, God, universe, everything flow through me, whatever, because it's a little nerve-wracking. Even though I can't see y'all, I know I'm speaking to you, but I don't do that while I'm recording. That's freaking weird. And for her to do that, it's like, okay, I have to prove that God is leading me. I have to prove that I do pray for things like why didn't you say, Jordan, can we please pray before this video so we know exactly what to say? All that, you know what I mean? It's very showy.
This day, God, thank you for the opportunity to finally speak the truth. Thank you for the opportunity to share my side of things for the first time. And I pray that you would just give me the courage to speak boldly, God, that no weapon formed against us shall prosper in the name of Jesus. And I pray that this message would somehow, some way speak to anyone that's listening. I pray for everyone that's listening, and I pray that you would get the glory in all of this. In your holy and precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Well, we got married. Everything went smoothly for the most part. Our honeymoon felt like absolute bliss, which every honeymoon should feel like that. It's first moments as husband and wife. And I'll let you take over, babe.
We were on our honeymoon for a week, and we got home. And about a month before, when Brittany and I first started dating, I was in medical device sales here in DFW. And about a month before we got married, I had a recruiter reach out, and I ended up accepting a new job with a company and to be a representative here in DFW. Everything was great. Really, really loved the new boss I had for that company. To this day, good Christian man. Really respected him and looked up to him, and everything was great. We got married, went on our honeymoon, and the day after we got back was my first technical day in the field. At 9 a.m. in the morning, I received a call about hopping on an immediate HR call without being able to tell my side of the story or share any of the details or even put them in contact with anyone that was involved in the situation. I was ceremoniously fired from my job. I was able to get enough information out of them. My previous time as a police officer, I'm sure definitely all of the trolls online know about it. But if you're not here, if you haven't been here for a while and you don't know, when I was a police officer in 2013, I made an arrest of a gentleman trying to break into a little old lady's house, and he was high on drugs, didn't listen to the verbal commands that I gave him. He was taken into custody in a way that we were taught in the academy.
You followed standard protocol.
Yep.
Yeah.
And at the time it was reviewed, the police department and the powers that be had no issue with it, but after the fact, he filed a lawsuit against me, and after I had left the police department, that's another thing that the trolls on the internet just love to throw up. I wasn't fired. No. I left in 2016. I wasn't sued until 2018. If anyone doesn't believe that, it's all public record, public information. Go check it out.
It's my favorite thing that they say. It just goes to show the severity of how much these people do not know, how much information they have wrong.
Okay, so yes, the people do and have been getting that wrong for a while now, and they'll even say that stuff on my videos or TikTok, mostly TikTok, and I think a little bit here on YouTube, saying he was fired from the police department because of what he did, and I'll comment like, no, he wasn't fired. Like, I know that he was not fired because he stayed after what had happened, which I'll explain in a second. He stayed for a few years. Like, he was never fired. I actually had this lady on TikTok who said he was fired when he was aggressive with the guy that he arrested, and all I put was he wasn't fired. And she came out after and said, are you agreeing with what he did? I was like, dude, calm down. Literally just saying that you're wrong. He wasn't fired for it. And he did say that is standard protocol. Okay, so I reviewed this video because everything was body cam footage. And I saw this video, okay? And from an outward perspective, side note, I completely understand. Let me say, being a police officer is a scary freaking job. I respect that wholeheartedly. I respect police. We respect police in this household. And I understand. I don't understand, but I can respect how scary a police's job is. Walking up to a vehicle, not knowing what's going to happen. And I had that in mind when I was watching this video. When he says that the man was not, I don't remember how he said it, like, that he wasn't compliant or wasn't following instructions. When you watch that video, he didn't, in my perspective, he did not do anything that Jordan did not tell him to. When he said, show your hands, like, that's what he did. Behind your back, that's what he did. Okay, so this is what happened. And he fit the description that this woman had called in of somebody trying to break into her house. So they noticed that he was very high. He was high on something. And in that moment, I can also respect that a police officer will be even more aware of what's going on because the person is high. Okay. Well, the issue is that Jordan said, hands behind your back, whatever, and he was doing that, and I even zoomed in to see if he was trying to pull something out of his pants, or if he had a weapon on him or something, but he was literally doing what Jordan said, and then within a moment he swooped his feet. I mean, you can Google this video. You can YouTube. I'm not going to show it on here, but you can YouTube and watch it for yourself. He swooped his feet out from under him, and this man face freaking planted into the ground. And then they arrested him, and then they took him. And I sent this to my dad, which my father is former law enforcement, and he was a military police officer in Iraq for many, many years. So I sent it to him, and I was like, in your professional opinion, was this police officer in the right or in the wrong? What was your opinion? And he said this was too much aggression for a police officer because this man was compliant. High or not, this man was compliant. And I was like, okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to get your opinion since you're the professional. And for him to say that he was not compliant and that he followed protocol really not just irks me, but it's very interesting because he straight swooped this man's legs right out from under him, and he face planted when he was doing exactly what Jordan was saying. So this was a deal, but he did not get fired from it. He didn't get fired from it. He stayed at the police department, and then he got sued. So a lot of people think that he got fired from it, he got sued, and then he quit. No, that's not how it worked. Now, if you're going to speak on something, it would be in your best interest if you knew the facts and knew the details, because it makes the other person look ignorant when you're trying to discuss it, because that just what I'm not siding with them by any means, but kind of, when they're saying that's what the troll, that's what a lot of people like to say. They're right. A lot of people like to say that because it sounds cool, not sounds cool, but it makes them look worse than what they already do. But we're here for the facts. We're here for the lawsuit documentation. We're here for the lawsuit. We're not here for, oh, well, he did that, that means he's a blah. We're not here for that. That's not what I'm about. We're not doing that. We're not even trolls when it comes to this. I'm literally explaining to you the problematic behavior. Trolling and shining a light on problematic behavior, in my opinion, are two completely different things. So if you really want to speak on something, make sure you know what you're talking about.
And backwards and twisted. Yeah, sorry, I just needed to interject that.
No, was able to glean enough information out of the HR department that it was, in fact, that someone had made them aware of my situation, my lawsuit, which was civil, definitely not criminal. Just because there are lots and lots of trolls out there. I'm not going to share what I do now for work, but whoever called my HR department for my previous company, I want to say thank you, because you gave Brittany and I the biggest blessing you could have ever given us.
The Lord truly was an example of what the enemy meant for evil, God turned to good. I'm so grateful every day that you don't work in medical device sales anymore. No. Every day, because our life is so fruitful from it now, from what he does now. The family we've gained, the friends we've gained.
The things that I'm doing, the passion that I have for what I'm doing, the brotherhood that I have of the guys that I work with on a daily basis.
Walking in your calling.
Such a blessing.
Yeah.
So if you are the troll that did that, we love you, we pray for you, and I just want to say I appreciate you so much making a decision for me that I probably wouldn't have had the courage to step out and do on my own.
With all the stuff that I'm about to share with
him saying that is so interesting. I want to make fun of him a little bit, just because what he's saying, my husband and I are kind of in the same boat when it comes to somebody else ruining an opportunity for you. And I'm not going to get into details right now, but there are definitely things that my husband, number one, didn't deserve, and essentially somebody else made that decision for him, because like kind of the same thing. They went to the higher and then whatever. And so I can understand and I can respect them saying, like, you know, thank you for doing that, because I wouldn't have been able to do this other thing on my own. But in saying that, it is a little silly how he's saying it, because he's making it seem like, oh, well, thank you for doing, again, my perspective, he's saying like a petty Christian, well, thank you for doing it, but we'll pray for you and we'll just pray blessings on you, but thank you for doing that for me. You know what I mean? It's just a petty Christian thing. Even though there is some truth into what he's saying, it's still worthy to be made fun of.
My career, Jordan's is so secured. I don't want to stay stuck on that too long, because we're also recording a podcast. It's going to be an hour long, probably a little bit more. So if you want more in-depth conversation about this, go listen to that. Jordan gets fired from his job, biggest blessing. And then October comes around. I think it was October 2021. It was a beautiful day. It's like 75 degrees out. So Jordan and I had to go run down to the store. We left the house for 20 minutes. We left the dogs in our very fenced and enclosed backyard. A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. They leave their pets outside on a beautiful day with water and food and let them be dogs instead of putting them in a cage. Not even 20 minutes later, 15, 20 minutes. And we pull down the road and I see what I thought was Brody up on the hill of our house. And I just did like a double take. Like I didn't want to, I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way that's Brody. How could he have gotten out? Like, that, it doesn't make sense. And as we drew closer to him, I realized it was him, and he was laying in the street. I immediately, like, that whole moment was a blur. You were still driving. You were probably going 15, 20 miles an hour. I bail out of the truck. I'm sprinting towards him, not even carrying. A car could have come around that corner and hit me, and I was so out of it. Like, the Lord had his hand over that moment. I will never be able to forget what I saw when I ran up on him. His skull was completely crushed in, and there was brain matter on the road. His eye was popped out of its socket.
He wasn't quite dead.
He was still moving.
Yeah.
He was not there. Like, I don't think he realized what was happening, but he was still moving and he was still feeling things. Like, he was still in pain. And there's no way that we could have scraped him up off the concrete and taken him to the vet.
Yeah. My immediate thought was I took Brittany inside because I didn't want her to have to see him anymore. Actually pulled you away from him.
I was screaming, at that point.
Got her inside. Asked her to just stay here and let me see what can be done. By that time, a couple of our neighbors, wonderful men, they had come down, and one had pulled his truck on one side of the road and another had pulled his truck on the other side of the road. They were blocking traffic, and I came back up, and one of the gentlemen was like, man, it's bad. And he goes, he's still gasping, and his one remaining intact side of his face, like he's blinking and looking, but he was like, man, it's bad. There's no he was hit hard, and there's nothing that anybody's gonna be able to do. He told me that that his brain matter was on the concrete, as well as quite a bit of blood. And he said, hey, do you have your gun, or do you need me to get mine? And I said, no, I have mine. And he goes, it's going to be the best thing to do. And I agree. For the animal lovers out there, it makes no sense
to let your dog suffer.
It is someone. I would challenge anyone who says that we didn't make the right decision. Do you really love animals? Because when an animal is writhing in pain and has had such a traumatic injury, such as Brody's, it's more inhumane to let them suffer.
there was no saving him.
No.
There was no saving him. And to the person that hit him, that was the hardest part for me, was to forgive them.
They didn't stop.
They didn't stop. They
Yeah.
were probably going 40 miles an hour around that turn.
Yeah.
His head was crushed. They knew, they had to have felt that.
Yeah, they probably knew, which was really hard for us to...
Listen, I know that this was such a controversial thing when it... I don't want to say well, maybe it was. Thing when it happened, because the biggest thing for me was that she decided to film a whole ass video of this and monetize it and post it on YouTube. So if something that traumatic happens to you, I know you're a freaking content creator, like, so am I, but I'm telling you right now, dude, if my dog died and it was that traumatic, I wouldn't be plastering it on social media. I might tell y'all about it later, but I'm not going to. And if y'all don't know, it's still up on her YouTube channel, but it said I'm shattered forever or something of that nature. And she's filming herself, like, literally right after it happened. She's explaining to everybody how it happened and how Jordan had to shoot him in the head and all of that. And so you don't have to put, even if you're a content creator, you don't have to put your whole entire life online. You don't have to do that. And that's what the biggest thing was for me. And in this moment as well, they lived in city limits. So, I mean, that would have been a law that was broken, him shooting him in the head. However, there's so many caveats to this, and I understand if somebody is like, no, they should have, like, taken him to the vet. I was on that boat too. However, right now, if his complete brain matter is on the ground and there are organs on the ground, what do you do, man? Like, what do you do? And I understand in the country that this is a whole other conversation. If you're in the country and you have an animal that is dying and you live 30 plus minutes away from town, that makes a lot more sense. However, they were within city limits again. But if his organs are on the ground, yeah, maybe that was the best thing, and I'll be the one to say it. And I understand that people are not happy about this, and I get it. However, we didn't know the whole entire story, and I am here not to just choose one side all of the time. If they're like, I put this in the James video where they interviewed and or like spoke to James's sister, when I came at this looking from both sides, because we all know social media, the news, it never tells the whole entire story. So though I initially don't side with Brittany and Jordan on a lot of things, if we don't know the whole entire story and if we don't know the facts yet, why are we all of a sudden hating on this one person? I don't hate Brittany. I hate the things that she does. I don't hate her. But if she is in the right in something, sure, like, okay, we'll talk about it. And I don't want this to be a let's hate Brittany Dawn channel. That's not how it is. I don't agree with the stuff that she does, and I think it's problematic 90% of the time. However, we never, as social media goes, nobody knew the extent of the injuries of their dog. Nobody knew that. So when people were saying, well, they could have taken it to the vet, they could have taken him, they lived in the city limits, sure. However, now that we know his freaking brain matter was scattered on the ground and half of his skull was completely crushed, I mean, come on, man. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? This might make some people upset, and that's fine. This is my opinion. I love my animals, and you can say whatever you want, but it doesn't mean that's true. I just really, really want us, and especially on this channel, not to just dislike and or hate the person just because we disagree with them, or or we have different belief systems or whatever. I'm really trying to come at this as a characteristic, ethical standpoint. And again, nobody knew how bad his injuries were and why they made that decision. Nobody knew until right now. I was on the train of, take him to the vet. Like, you broke the law, firing your weapon not on your property, number one, and within city limits. However, on the side of that, which one is more ethical? Trying to scoop up his brain matter and making him suffer the whole entire time? Going, come on.
To understand it. Even accidents do happen, but stop and see what you can do to help. And it had just happened when we pulled up. Let's clear the air. Britt shared the story about that and didn't necessarily share all of the details, but assumptions were made. And I'm here to clear the air. Yes, my dog was on the verge of death and suffering, and I took my own gun to put him out of his misery because there was nothing to do to save his life.
Yeah.
And I did not want him to suffer for even 1 second longer. So yes, I did. There was subsequently an article written on Yahoo News, which I have no idea why this is news.
No,
but
there's so much better things to be talking about in this world than an influencer's husband.
Yeah, influencer's husband shoots dog. Oh, I completely agree. How is that news?
It's not news. It's drama, it's gossip, and they're twisting and completely manipulating a story that honestly, like, people have asked, we don't see your dogs anymore. My animals are none of your business. My horses are none of your business. If you see them, great. If I decide to post them, great. I now keep our dogs so private because the internet has completely destroyed any chance of me ever sharing them online again. Those are our babies. We aren't parents yet. We are going to be parents. Well, we are to be.
Why is she now just being private with her dogs, but she doesn't want to be private with anything else? Like, you would rather be more private with your animals than private with the children in your home that you foster? That doesn't seem right. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, her ethics here, like her decision-making skills, the things that she is choosing to put on social media, and then she's like, no, I'm not gonna do that because that's my life and that's private. Like, why would you choose to not make your dogs, make your dogs a private thing, but on the flip side, show the foster children that you're, like, the children that you're fostering, I mean, not the, like, the face or anything, but letting people know that you're fostering children? Why would you do that?
Our dogs are our children. And I spend more time with our dogs during the day than anyone else because they're here with me when I work. And the internet has completely lost that privilege and that right. And I want to challenge anyone listening to this, like, you have right.
I don't think we care that much. The way that she said, you lost, like, she's like, speaking like my mom, you lost your right. You lost your privilege to do that. I don't care that much about your dogs, dude.
To keep things private. You do not have to share everything. And that's what I've learned, especially through that, because the media is disgusting. You can't trust the media. You can't trust journalists. I have that right as.
You know what's disgusting, in my opinion, is posting a video right after your dog died explaining that your dog died and your husband had to kill him. That's disgusting.
A human being to keep that private and sacred, and truth be told, it makes me question if I even want to post our kids online when we have children one day, because I've seen what the media can do, and they completely manipulate and make every single situation disgusting.
In what world, after everything that you have been through on social media and on the news and national news or whatever, in what world would you ever still have the question of putting your live human children online and on social media? Like, what are you thinking? Like, come on. Again, this is what I'm talking about. If you, ma'am, if you are choosing to not put your own dogs on social media, the question of you potentially putting your own children on social media, that should automatically be a hell no. That should automatically be a hell no. Oh my God. Has she not learned anything?
The people showing up at my house, that never stopped. It's never stopped. People showing up, taking pictures. We have more cameras on this house. Y'all can't see us, but we can see you. And I'm grateful for a husband that's a protector and knows how to do all of that stuff. It's astonishing to me, once again, the audacity that these people have to just come as they please, come park in front of our home, make me feel unsafe. Yeah, in April of 2022.
Then why would you offer your home to children in bad situations? Why would you, if you do not already feel safe in your own home, why would you offer a safe place for a baby if you already don't feel safe in your own home? Why would you add a child in there? Again, this is what I'm talking about. This is the problematic behavior that I want to shine a light on, because in my opinion, this is problematic as
one-day event.
Our very first one-day event for Sheila's Freed, and we had put so much work and effort and hours and just blood, sweat, tears into this. It was the most incredible 12 hours. It started off rocky for me. We pull up. I've got me and my girlfriend, some of our Sheila's Freed girls in the car. As I'm getting out and getting my bag and walking, there is just a mob of media with lights and cameras and just microphones in my face. And the first questions they asked were, is it true that you scammed people out of their hard-earned money? Did they think I was going to give them my time?
Just stop and be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do an interview right here. Like, if it bleeds, it reads type situation. It's really sad. And it's to further perpetuate a narrative about a situation. She said it 1,000 times. There was mistakes made in the business. Nothing malicious. Nothing malicious was ever perpetuated, and it's just ridiculous. But even a news, I don't think that she really deserves to have her name shared on this YouTube video. But there was a news reporter who bought a ticket to the event and came in, and we knew that ahead of time. We knew that was going to occur, and I have since read her article. Everyone at that event engaged her with love, and everyone was kind and welcoming. That's what those things are about.
That's what we do. Like to be the hands and feet of Jesus. It's to love those people in their brokenness. It's to love those people despite the conflict. When they come at you guns a-blazing, like, we're called to disarm them with the love of Christ. Mm-hmm. That's biblical. Yeah. And that's what we did. It was beautiful to watch the Holy Spirit move around her and even like come upon her at some points. And I got to have a conversation with her, and I'm sure she's probably watching this because she's a journalist. And
well, who's obsessed with covering every move of
my life. And you know what? Like, so be it. Maybe that's the Lord planting seeds in her life. That happened. Then we, shortly after that, announced that we were becoming foster parents. Immediately, the internet started to put out the narrative that we were unfit to be foster parents, that we were dangerous foster parents. And again, it just goes to show that you can't believe everything you see on the internet.
They've tried to interject themselves into every step of the process.
I agree with this part, with whatever she's saying. I guess agree is not the right word, but yeah, she's right. A lot of people, especially on TikTok, probably the same people who said Jordan was fired from his job, were not both, but we're also saying they're unfit. I'm so fearful for the babies that are in their home. They're like, listen, calm down. Just calm down. We're here to talk about their unethical behavior. I don't think the babies are in danger. Now, in saying that, is it smart to bring, like I said earlier, is it smart to bring a baby into your home when you yourself do not feel safe in there? No. However, as a whole, do I personally think that these babies were in danger? No. Do I think they were in danger because of the people on the outside coming in? No. Do I think they were in danger because of these two people? No. Do I think they're gonna harm a freaking child? No. Did she do something stupid when she left the freaking kid inside when the stove was on and she was outside working out? Yeah, that's dumb. And we talked about it here. Don't bring a kid into your house when you have this whole Scammy McScammerson lawsuit going on. And when you, again, do not feel safe in your own home, probably not a good idea. And also, not saying leave your child in your home when you go outside to work out and with the stove is on. Jesus, I'm not saying that. However, if that were to happen, God, why would you put that on social media? So you can kind of see where there is in my opinion, there's a lack of awareness of, maybe I shouldn't put that on social media, because I understand how it can be scrutinized and just flipped and twisted to make this whole other narrative up, when really it wasn't that, it was actually this. Or how people got so upset, I was one of them, when she left a freaking child inside, and I was like, hey man, if this is gonna happen, don't freaking put this on social media. And she didn't like my opinion on that, so, she copyright struck me. But with that, I think it is very wrong when people were saying that these babies are in actual danger. Do I think it's unethical? And do I believe that they shouldn't be fostering right now? Sure. Well, maybe not like right now, but when she was going through the lawsuit and all that stuff, sure. Do I think, and it wasn't, okay, let me make this very, very clear. It wasn't so much the fostering that was the bad thing, in my opinion. It was the monetization. That's what it was. The monetization of these foster kids. Again, do I think they're in danger? No. Do I think that these people are going to hurt them? No. Like, go touch grass. You're fine. Go throw your phone away. If you want to comment something negative just because it's Brittany Dawn, calm down. Go read a book. Go move your body. It's not because they're in danger. It is the monetization of the children that are being fostered. Sure. Foster kids. Awesome. Good for you. There needs to be people doing that in the world. Wonderful. Just don't monetize the child that you're fostering. That was the ethical issue that I had and a lot of other people had.
Trying to find out what agency we're with, trying to reach out to the state of Texas and tell them that we're not fit. Even the placements that we've had, we've received untrue allegations about us as foster parents. They've made every attempt, which these same people who do this, like, do they not care about kids that need to be
I'm convinced they
loved on and brought out of dangerous situations?
No.
If I were to share the context of the couple of placements that we've had, I assure you that our home and us as parents standing in the gap for those children is a much better place than the place that they came from. And so it's just like, okay, you're so hell-bent on tearing us down that you're willing to call in untrue hotline calls about us to get a kid taken away from us, to not knowing what situation that kid's going to go to. You need to check yourself. Like, you need to turn around and take a look in the mirror and look deep down inside yourself. Like, do I care about humanity as a whole, or do I just care about dragging Brittany and Jordan down? Because what people don't realize is that doing that affects those children.
Yeah.
We're going to share more about that.
And here we are again. I agree with what he's saying to the extent of, if you are just doing it to do it because it's Brittany and Jordan, like, check yourself. And I completely agree with that. Oh my God, this whole video, I have so many agreements with Brittany and Jordan. But again, here we are. Like, I'm not going to choose just one side because, man, it's Brittany. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to see it from both sides and the logical standpoint, and that's where we're gonna get our opinion, my opinion rather, and here we are. So I do agree with him when it comes to, and I see this a lot on Reddit, love me, hate me, it is what it is. I see this a lot on Reddit when every move that Brittany and Jordan make, obviously, especially Brittany, every move that Brittany makes, there's a comment about it. There's a bad thing about it, Every article of clothing she puts on her body, every type of makeup she puts on her face, there's just a comment about it. And And I do believe a lot of those comments are simply because it's Brittany Dawn. And that's it. Like, it doesn't matter who's doing it. If Brittany's doing it, we fucking hate it. And that's not logical, in my opinion. That's not a great way to view people. Like, I don't care who she is. If she has a logical opinion, an ethical thing, I'll come out and agree with her, as I'm doing now to some extent, and what I did, again, referring to the video with James's sister, when I was like, yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense, this doesn't make sense, and I'll, snark on her some more, but I agree with Jordan, dude. If you're so far up Brittany's ass that anything and everything that she does you do not like just because it's Brittany, sure, look at yourself, turn around, throw your phone somewhere, it's not that deep, take a moment for yourself, because something's wrong. Not saying like you don't care about humanity like they're saying, or like you don't care about children, not that. It's simply what's going on with you that causes you to literally hate everything that Brittany Dawn does.
In the future, in the right timing, but they've tried to interject themselves throughout every stage of the foster care journey that we've been on, and then ultimately have attacked our natural birth and pregnancy journey as well. Do you want to share about that?
I was pregnant last year. We obviously kept that private. We weren't going to announce until I went into my second trimester, and a week before I was about to announce, I had a miscarriage. And I've been very open about that on all of my platforms. While I feel fully
a little too open, if we're being honest here, and again, we're going back to disagreeing, because it is what it is. So the problem with this, and I don't think she's fully understanding, yes, because we've talked about it here, we've talked about it on this page, like having a miscarriage, that's absolutely incredibly sad and terrible. And I do not wish that upon freaking anybody. I don't wish that upon any woman at all. Absolutely not. However, when you are monetizing your miscarriage and it becomes your freaking personality and why you're on YouTube, and you're also stealing an audio of somebody else's story who had a miscarriage, I'm not sure a miscarriage, but is going through infertility, and you use her audio, had a video about that. I'll put that in the description below. But when you're doing that, again, ethically, something is going on, dude, and those are things that I just cannot get behind because they're problematic behavior. It's problematic behavior that needs to be addressed. It is not your miscarriage. It is not the infertility. However, side note, if you're saying some dumb ass shit about her not getting pregnant and glorifying that miscarriage, go away. Like, we don't want that comment here around her at all. Like, that's not something that's okay in any aspect. If you even freaking hate Brittany Dawn for some whatever reason, those comments are never warranted. Like, go away. Those are not warranted comments at all. It is not the problem that she had a miscarriage. It's not the problem that she's struggling with infertility. It is the incessant monetization of those struggles. That's what it is. And that's why it's making people feel uncomfortable that they continue to see the miscarriage, the story that continues to be played out when we all know now, got it. Now, fostering is your personality, and click this and link in the bio and link here for baby clothes when it's an affiliate link and she gets money for that. That's problematic. Monetizing your miscarriage continuously, I'm not saying that you can put 1 or 2 videos on there, whatever, that's fine. In my opinion, it's fine. But when you are incessant about it and you continue to freaking talk about it, making your personality, and you're recording yourself when you're bawling your eyes out, and you're recording yourself in Hobby Lobby in the mirrors and you're crying, like, that's not authentic to me, and that's not authentic to a lot of other people either. And that's why the logical people, that's why we're talking it. I'm not talking about the actual trolls who just want terrible things for Brittany's life. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that actual logical humans out there who are talking about problematic behavior. That's what I'm referring to. The trolls who are saying that she shouldn't get pregnant, or, you know, this is karma for, you know, the scamming. No, like, cut it. We don't want it.
I think there's a part of me that is still just absolutely disgusted with how the internet handled that. Not everyone, but there was a small majority of people that said that I had lied about that pregnancy, that the sonogram was fake. And we literally have a video when I'm getting a sonogram showing the heartbeat of that child.
And now's a great time to cover this. Like, the people that would say that, the people that would try to tear someone down during a heartbreaking time in their lives, we pray for you. We really do. Because you're projecting hurt from your own life onto others, and we just so happen to be the lucky targets of that. But we make a conscious decision and effort to pray for those people that feel like they need to do that to make themselves feel better.
But we have prayed and contended and believed with our whole hearts that God was going to make us parents, and He did. And just because our child is not earthside doesn't mean we're not parents. We are to a baby in heaven. My thing is, like, to go back to the foster stuff real quickly, like, I have cried so much about this with you, and again, I feel strong right now. I believe that's the Lord. God forbid, when we have kids, our own biological kids, or adoptive kids, because I believe that we're going to have one or the other, or both. God forbid these people call CPS on us for no reason but to make a false allegation, which in the state of Texas, it is illegal, and you can be prosecuted for making a false allegation call. We just learned this the other day with our attorney. You can be prosecuted for that. That is illegal in the state of Texas, and I'm sure in other states as well.
For us to even have that conversation of like, whoa, what if these people made, like, that's ridiculous.
Which just goes back to me saying, like, it's really made me think twice about even wanting to share about our kids online. Who's to say I might not hide an entire pregnancy? That's honestly where I'm at in life, as much as I love sharing.
Let's be honest. Do you think that she'd be able to hide a whole freaking pregnancy? Absolutely not. Because I think we all know that when she gets pregnant, and you know what? I hope she does. I hope she has a kid or 2 or 3 or 5 or whatever. But we all know that she's going to make it her whole personality of getting pregnant, of being pregnant rather, and going through the stages of that and having a baby. You know for sure that that's just going to be how it is. That's what she's going to completely change her content to workouts to do when you're pregnant, things that help you feel better when you're pregnant, and new mom shit. That's like, her saying that she's going to hide a whole pregnancy is silly to me, and I think she's just like, don't do that again. I'm going to hide my pregnancy. Like, everyone, I really don't give a shit. But I don't think she can actually do that.
And being transparent and open about our journey as newlyweds, trying to conceive, and miscarriage, and foster parenting. Like, the internet is ruining that, and I'm seeing the sacredness of just keeping things private so much more so now than I ever have.
It's the bad apples.
Yeah.
It's not the wonderful people that, I mean, you show me all the time the encouraging messages, and the 95% of the messages you receive are encouraging.
Absolutely.
It's the 5% of the trolls who have dedicated their life to trying to spread hate and just unwarranted terribleness. Do you want to talk about your podcast?
Yeah, when I announced my podcast, March, so 3 months ago, I knew it was coming. I knew, there's a fly on my head. I knew it was coming.
Welcome to Texas in the summer.
I know, it's awful. As if I didn't already know this was going to happen. They took it upon themselves to go bandwagon mentality and just throw hate in my reviews. Which, if you're watching this and you genuinely love my podcast, it would mean the world to me to go leave a 5-star review. What's fantastic about this is that reviews do not affect ratings in the charts, and I was trending at number 4 the week of launch in the religion Christianity category. Even last week was trending again in the top chart. The hardest part for me to share is, to this date, these people have gotten multiple six figures worth of contracts canceled. They have nearly destroyed my income from that avenue, because praise the Lord, I have multiple streams of income. Also, some of which no one will ever know about. No one will ever know about those. But from this arena, they have canceled multiple six figures worth of contracts, and it has affected my income. It has affected my livelihood, my career, the way that these people will just, I'm struggling.
Can we help you?
Yeah.
And I think we touched on this in the previous video and podcast. There are ways, we know who you are. Let's just leave it at that. We know the trolls that reach out to companies, even with a fake email address. We know who you are.
Everything is traceable.
We are going to, now that we have moved past the things that we needed to handle, we are going to systematically go after every single one of those. It is illegal in the state of Texas to interject yourself as a third party into a contract.
And we touched on that in the last one.
We did. Yeah.
It's illegal for you. Okay, so if there's an influencer here and you so influencer here and then the sponsorship. If you as a third party reach out to this sponsorship and complain about this, you can't do that. Because if that comes out to be very, very false, you're liable for that and you can get sued from a lot of money. Don't do that. Again, there's a difference between trolls and people like me who talk about problematic behavior. This is the extent as I speak about Brittany Dawn and what I do with her content is reacting with y'all, to y'all rather. I don't spend time going through emailing people and trying to get her in trouble. And no, that's trolly some. And I know I've told y'all before, I'm like, dude, I love to troll. Let me explain that. I like to troll when it's minor things, and the trolling, if somebody comments something stupid on my video and I'm just like, your mom or whatever, that kind of, but not career freaking ruining troll. This is what you live to do. There's a difference between that. So if you're one of those people or somebody who's like that, please don't do that. It's gross. Again, look at yourself instead of trying to ruin somebody's livelihood and somebody's complete career. Do I wish that she would acknowledge everything that she did? Yeah. Evidently, to some capacity, she has lost money because of it. Now, whatever that third party is saying to those sponsorships, we don't know if that's true or not, but still, don't do that, because I'm pretty sure one of the sponsorships that she had was HelloFresh, and I think they dropped her allegedly. I think, my opinion, I guess not mine, but I'm pretty sure that's one of them, HelloFresh, that had dropped her, and that can be some good income from HelloFresh. But I also don't necessarily think that these sponsorships just dropped her because of these her lawsuit was on Good Morning America. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's just solely these trolly people who have nothing else better to do, or they really want to wreck her life. I don't really just think it's them going to the sponsorships, though it can be, but I really think it's the sponsorships looking at social media, looking at the news, looking at, and then just forming their own opinion. And that's not bad. That's an okay thing. But yeah, if you're a third party, don't talk to the sponsorships about influencers.
And it's, there are companies out there, which good on those companies. They don't stand for it, and they've continued with the contracts that they've entered into with you.
Yeah.
But then there's also the companies who, at the slightest hint of any type of pushback.
Yeah, there have been a lot of contracts that have been canceled. The crazy thing about our God is every time that's happened, He is Jehovah Jireh. He is our great provider, and He has provided time and time and time again. So I trust that He's doing a good thing, even through the flames of all of this. It's beyond me that companies are bowing to cancel culture, that they are so fearful of these anonymous profiles and the mob mentality, because that's what it is, but they will bow. I know I'm not the only influencer struggling with this. This has happened a lot to a lot of influencers, and I thank the Lord that I am finding the courage to speak up on this, because this is affecting people, not just on a financial scale, but on a mental well-being. And my testimony just goes to show that a change needs to be made. People are taking their lives over this. People are encountering suicidal ideation over this.
There's a change that needs to happen in our country to where just because you have a social media doesn't give. And it happens to influencers, and it happens to 17-year-old high school students. The ability for trolls and haters to hide behind a keyboard and say whatever they want, it's unacceptable, and it's not going to happen. And
well, because without the lack of something being done, those people, the people behind this push to cancel people and to destroy people, they're the ones being defended by nothing being done. They're saying, oh, well, they also have a freedom of speech. Yeah, but like, you can't tell me that their freedom of speech to harass and bully and stalk people it is held to a higher standard than to protect someone who's on the brink of suicide.
Yeah, it's not
of taking their life.
It's like, not more important than
no.
The harassment that people endure just because someone doesn't like them or their social media presence.
We're all entitled to our opinion, but whether or not we vocalize that opinion, there needs to be a boundary put in place.
Yeah.
And the UK just recently passed, was that last year? We were watching the news in bed, and they announced that the UK just passed where it is now a felony to cyber harass or cyber bully someone online. I literally jumped out of bed and I was like, holy cow. Like, if the UK can pass a law that implements that, like, the US can do something, because again, we are the greatest country in this world. Yeah.
Great Britain. Like
China, which I know China's like a communist country. We don't want to like associate with that, you know, but my whole point is,
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, but my whole point is this, like, if other countries are doing that and implementing that, that means one, that there is a problem that needs to be addressed, and two, there is something that can be put in place to protect those of us who, one, do this for a living, and two, people who just have social media because it's fun. Yeah. It's such a new thing. And
I agree that cyberbullying and cyber harassing should not be, like, it shouldn't be acceptable. It shouldn't be ignored. In saying that, I'm curious to know what her definition of cyberbullying, cyber harassing is. Like, would she consider, like, what I'm doing harassment or bullying, or would she just put that on the people who are actually cyber bullying and harassing, and the ones who are actually saying, like, you deserve to die, go off yourself, this is why you had a miscarriage, you know, those types of things that are actually very, very mean, and even talking about her body and how she looks and how she, like, just how she presents herself, and just like really bullying her on that aspect. It makes me wonder, like, where would we draw the line when it comes to bullying and harassing? Would it be your own? That's where this is questionable. Like, would it be your own feeling of, well, I feel like they're being bullied? Like, for me, example, if she watched this video and was like, well, I feel like I'm being bullied in this video, because let's be honest, she's not being harassed or bullied by any means. I've been called a bully, but let's be real. If you call me a bully, you've never been bullied before. Let's just like yell that loud and clear. But where would we draw the line? Would it be the feeling, or would it be different words or that we couldn't say, or whatever? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, where would we draw the line of actual speaking of problematic behavior versus what harassment would be? Which I think we all kind of know, but if it is the law, where would that line be drawn?
Nothing is being done about it, but I have hope that something can be done. And so my prayer is like that, just I will be a vessel. Yeah. Somehow, some way that this
maybe that these videos will spark change and get into the right hands and be seen by the right people, to where you're strong, you have a good support system, you have people around you. And it wasn't always this case, but now you still see it, but you're insulated from that because you have a good support system and you have people that believe in you and support you. There are 17-year-old high school students that don't have that support system, that read the hateful messages that trolls might post about them or say, just for having an online presence, and they're hurting themselves. They're taking their own lives, which is unacceptable in today's society. It's tragic.
It's absolutely tragic. So, not to leave on a somber note, yeah, I think we want to wrap this up because it's getting long. And so, if you guys want more detailed information on all of this, feel free to check out the latest Chiseled and Called podcast episode. And next week will be all about Reddit and addressing Reddit.
Fun.
There's so much to unpack there that literally it deserves an episode in itself, a video in itself. So, as always, thank you guys so much for stopping in on my channel.
Next week will be all about Reddit. Oh, well, I'm excited to watch that video. I wonder what she's gonna, because she did say that she's gonna dox so many people. So I wonder if she's gonna dox people, which, let's be honest, that's not very Christ-like, is it? To dox people? That's not very Christ-like. But anywho, so let me know what you think in the comments below. And please let me know if you want me to do a reaction video to her Reddit video as well. If not, I don't know. I don't know if I'll do it. Maybe I'll just watch it and let y'all know about it, because people on Reddit can be quite mean and be quite bullying when it comes to Brittany Dawn. And I don't agree with a lot of the things that people on Reddit do and say about Brittany Dawn, because again, we're not coming at it as a problematic behavior thing. We're coming at it as, I don't like Brittany Dawn and everything that she does I just hate because it's Brittany. And I'm not about that. We're not about that here. I don't want that to be the narrative at all. Okay, so let me know what you think in the comments below. And always remember that you are a fierce and powerful motherfucking woman, and go move your body. Again, if you want to say those nasty negative things to her, to anybody else, even in your life, whatever, just throw your phone, take a walk, move your body, go lift something, and put your feet in some grass and drink water and eat something green. Like, work on yourself before you say negative shit online. I appreciate y'all so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.